Look, I hate the cold weather. Do you think any of us could afford Beverly Hills, though?
I mean, no.
Could you afford Beverly, Massachusetts right now?
Touche.
Welcome back, everyone, to S1E1, a show where each week we pick a different sitcom, watch just the first televised episode, and forgetting anything we might know about the future run of that show, rate it and decide if it's a show we want to greenlight or cancel. This week we're going to be talking about the Beverly Hillbillies. The Beverly Hillbillies went 274 episodes over 9 seasons on CBS. Today we're talking about episode 1, which was called the Clampetts Strike Oil, originally airing September 26th, 1962. To get things started, I'm Jay Gags. With me, as always, the boys, Joe, Ferg, and Gordo. No Nick this week. What's going on, guys?
Yes.
Hey.
Them sirens. Guys, did you have your innards today? Were they yesterday's innards or today's innards? I wasn't quite sure.
Well, they're just as good.
Yeah, they're just as good. They're sometimes better.
I will say this, though. I forgot, having not seen this in a long time, just how fucking hard they hit the moonshiner aspect of this show. Where they get to the fucking mansion and she's like, grow my corn here for the still. Like, just don't stop saying it. He's a revenuer. It's like, holy shit.
This show, their accents are so strong. This was the hardest it was for me to like transcribe certain things as I'm writing and be like, what did they say? And I literally had to like keep cross-referencing an actual transcription to see like, what was that word they said? There was a lot of hard.
Maybe just Jet. I can understand everyone else. But
I can to a degree, but when it's like word for word, like this, you don't like, sometimes your brain naturally puts it together. You get the gist of what they're saying, but when you need to know specifically what they were saying, because like you need it down in a note, sometimes it gets a little rough. And that happened here with me, but
I think in the way old UK punk has made me understand a lot of words I shouldn't understand when we do British shows. I feel like listening to a lot of old country music made me understand a lot of what they're saying in this, because this is basically just like a fucking 40-minute George Jones or Buck Owens song, which is like, the revenuers are coming from a corn liquor. It's like, okay, I know what's going on over here.
But yeah, so first and foremost, Gordo, your pick.
Yep.
What drew you to do? Was this because you're just thinking about the movie and with Jim Varney in it, and that's why
you didn't see the movie.
I did. The one that came out in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
I saw it once. I couldn't tell you a damn thing about it, but I know I sat through it.
I don't have it for some reason, but there is a Jim Varney record of him singing as Jed Clampett that came out.
Oh, really? What does that go for?
Like $2. It's not like an expensive record, yeah.
Not like the Lenny and the Squigtones album, which is a fucking fortune.
Yeah, I think I paid like $40 for mine. Yeah.
It's a lot more now, last I looked, but yeah, anyways, Gordo, so what made you want to do this show?
No idea.
You heard of it?
I mean, at this point, like, I don't watch as much TV as you guys do. And like, it's just going to be Google searches from here on out, or like, what can I remember?
Also, we were going to have to get to this eventually, right? This is like a cornerstone of 60s American TV sitcoms.
And to be completely honest, and like another pullback, I think there was like, we've talked like, you know, it'd be nice to do some collabs. So like, it was like, oh, maybe we should find a movie podcast and like one for one, do the movie, do the show, which, you know, I think in the future we'll try to do with a couple other shows that have movie adaptations. So I think we kind of kept this on the back burner in case we had something lined up, which we don't. But this is a classic show. And I think that's one area that, you know, we need, like, we've started to chip away at a little bit more. Like, we were so in the weeds with like more 80s, 90s and beyond, but we forget like the backbone. Like, we've done the I Love Lucy's and the Dick Van Dyke shows now, and like it's in Mary Tyler Moore, and now we got to look like what was like the founding father shows of sitcoms, and you start talking about this and Green Acres, Petticoat Junction, like all those shows that were well before our time that we became familiar with through Nick at Night and you know, like, how did TV get to where it is today? And like these shows like built the foundation, and it's good to kind of go back and start covering a lot of those and getting the history down.
And this is one of the first like fish out of water shows, right? Like you take people, put them in a situation they don't belong in, and hilarity ensues. It's like an easy premise that's often duplicated.
I agree that that's the plot of the series, not the pilot.
Yeah, the pilot, this is a very strange pilot. Also, anybody a little sad that we didn't get the theme song in this pilot?
I'm wicked sad.
I was so excited to go a bubbling crude for this whole fucking episode, and we didn't get it. We got the Flat and Scruggs banjo, but we did not get the Ballad of Jack Clampett.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
You hear?
Weird, though, is that in the theme song and in the opening credits, it was the Hillbillies of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the name of the show, which was like, even like that threw me off.
So this is where I struggled, because to go over the episode that we covered was like 32 minutes long. Now, there is a cut of that show that was condensed to like modern day television. There's like a 22-minute cut you can watch of this episode. And we'll kind of go over later like some of the changes and stuff. But now we always try to do first televised. Like when we have the option, we always say we want to try to watch it the way it was first presented if possible. So there's usually minor changes sometimes. And then it was like they might change the theme down the road. It was a little difficult to nail down exactly how things went with this one, but this was the original cut. As far as like when the theme became the theme, was it after like an initial view, or was it changed, or was this changed later for rights purposes? It's a little tough to figure out. And the same thing with the name. They originally cut the show as the Hillbillies of Beverly Hills, basically immediately changed to the Beverly Hillbillies. Can't even completely confirm if it was released under this name or not.
Yeah.
But this is the cut, and this part of that is this show entered free domain. So the whole, not all of it, but the first season and about, I think it was like half of season 2 are all in public domain now. So they're just going by like the cut that exists, and you could watch it anywhere now. Like this show, like to go into it, like if you want to watch this, it's available on like Amazon Prime, but you can find it almost anywhere because it's free use at this
Any
point.
streamer is going to have it because it's free content, yeah. Although, we say that all the time, there's all these streamers who own all this shit where they're like, yeah, I just want to play that. It's like, but why? Why can't I just watch every episode of fucking Amen or whatever, you know?
When you have a show like this where you literally don't have to pay anybody to throw the first season on your streamer, like, why not?
And then you make it ad-supported, and if anybody watches it, yeah, you might make 3 cents or whatever. I will say, though, what fucking marketing intern walked into the room that day and was just like, guys, the Hillbillies of Beverly Hills, are you fucking stupid? The Beverly Hillbillies. And they were like, make that man a vice president. Like, that's such a fucking simple thing.
It's one of those things that, like,
something.
how did they not see it? You know, when you see the other name up there, it's like, how do they not? It's right in front of them the whole time.
Do you guys remember a few years ago where there was gonna be a real life Beverly Hillbillies reality show? And it got canceled because it was like, they were like, this is too like culturally inappropriate or whatever. Like, we can't be calling people hillbillies on TV, which is so funny because like 2 years later, they were like, here's Joe Exotic. Like, we just like, if we don't say it out loud, it's okay. But if you say the words, it becomes bad.
Well, redneck things are, you know, people refer to like themselves as rednecks, like a lot of entertainment people.
You hear people refer to themselves as rednecks a lot. Like, you don't hear hillbilly as much.
Hillbilly seems to have been outside of wrestling, which like I literally, I have his autograph somewhere, but like I saw like a Scotland hillbilly at an indie show like 10 years ago, and I had to be like, I need your autograph. This is insane that you're doing this now.
You have like some autograph that says like, to William from Hillbilly Jim.
No, I wouldn't do that because Hillbilly Jim is still alive, so I could get an autograph from him that says my name on it. But when I got the Mean Gene one, because somebody had one the next town over for me on Facebook Marketplace for $20, how was I going to not buy that? The poor man is dead. I can't get one with my name on it.
Well, Joe's a very common name. You could have found a Joe and bought
It's a very specific lane to be in, though, if you're just on eBay looking for Mean Gene Okerlund autographs to Joe.
I honestly tried this. When you guys gave me all that shit for that, the year that we did Christmas gifts, I was looking for, I forget who I had, maybe it was you, Jay, but I was looking for wrestling autographs that were to the name of the Mean Gene one I had. And that's a lot harder to search for than you think. You literally have to go through thousands of listings on eBay and try to find anyone that's not just a non-addressed one, like a non-personalized one, and then see what the name is. And half the time you can't read the fuck they say anyway, so it just becomes a fool's errand.
So real quick, just want to get into a couple things too. IMDb has this as a 5.6. Rotten Tomatoes critics 85, audience 52. So both scores, like for the fans, like in the 50 something range, which I actually find a little surprising, but obviously we'll get into it. But it seemed a little low for such a classic show.
I feel like with a lot of these shows though, as the audience ages, it's only ever going to go down. Like, I just think that the time and space is going to make them have critic scores are going to be different. Like, it's going to look at it as like a critical, they say a critical looking at this show, what it meant, what the jokes are, what it's for, whatever. And then people are going to watch it now and be like, it's not funny. And it's never like it's going to get worse and worse as time goes on.
Oh, it's just a bunch of angry hillbillies typing with two fingers.
I mean, even to be honest, too, how many points do you think this loses for some people just because it's in black and white? There are some people who literally cannot watch or will not watch things that are in black and white. So you're going to lose those people right the fuck away anyway.
Yeah, but they made the effort to go online and grade the show. Yeah, that much.
Well, okay. People will get a fucking burger that they said they wanted medium well and was a little bit pinker than that, and then go online and write fucking paragraphs about it. So you can't use that because people love to fucking grade things even if they don't like them. And they spend a lot of time doing it.
We could do a whole episode on how different the world would be if people were as motivated by enjoying things and hating things. Like, the whole scope of the internet would be completely different if people showed the same amount of effort when they like something versus dislike it.
It's so hard now. Like, I need a new coffee maker, or I was looking at a new lawnmower for this summer. And then you go through the rabbit hole of reading reviews and you're like, none of this matters to anything. There's usually one review that's like very much a Hank Hill who's like,
I was gonna say, you have to assume all the perfect scores are fake and all the lowest scores are fake and just stay in that middle zone.
They're both outliers, yeah.
You'll read sometimes on Amazon though too, but like, I bought this on the same day as I bought 2 cans of WD-40. 1 can leaked. Like, what? This has nothing to do with the fucking lawnmower, man.
Oh, lawnmower, man.
The best graphics of all time.
Yeah, again, this a classic show. It lives on in syndication now. They made that movie in the 90s, like we talked about. They almost made a reality show in modern day about it. So it's one of those, like, it kind of like lives on, but it's so curious, and it's really tough for us because we've talked about this a bunch of times too. Just like the scope of the world and how television is brought to people now, like with most people getting away from cable, you don't just stumble upon things the same way. So when everything's on demand and you're picking things specifically, look at us and look at why we watch shows like this and Mr. Ed. Like, like your common kid isn't going to have that in front of them anymore. So what would have drove us to watch it if we were only catching things on Hulu and Netflix?
Yeah, if you walk up to any kid who only knows things brought to him by an algorithm and go, Wilbur, to him, they're going to have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
So, with all that being said, this is going to be an interesting show to cover in that, like, it's simple. Like, for before we even started recording, it said it. This whole episode is basically like, if you knew the intro, it's like basically just what's said in a quick verse of the song is just stretched out over a half hour.
Let's take a 30-second song and make it 32 minutes long. Although, to be fair, there were some things in this they do not do in the...
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously changes and stuff too, but...
It's hard to not get a kick out of the poor man rappelling from a helicopter and getting shot by Granny. Like, that's so fucking funny to me.
To jump right in, we start and there's some music playing and we're seeing like all these like different aerial shots of Beverly Hills and there's narration over it. And it has that very classic Hollywood vibe. And you get like the narration, like basically like explaining like, this is Beverly Hills. Here dwell the rich, the famous, the glamorous, movie stars, royalty in exile, retired millionaires, sportsmen, playboys, hillbillies.
Hillbillies?
What are hillbillies doing here?
I looked up this guy because I had to. His name's Art Gallagher, the narrator. And he has like 200 credits on IMDb. He died in like 1970 and had 200 credits. And every single one of them is like radio announcer, narrator, radio announcer number 2. And I was like, I wonder how many times he had to go hillbillies out of 180 credits. I'm guessing just fucking one.
And that's when, we're getting the whole, like, who are these people? And we transition into the intro, which this version, like we said, we're not getting we're just getting like the generic, we didn't pay the music rights type of like, banjo music. And we're just seeing, it's still the classic shot of them all in the car together with the title, The Hillbillies of Beverly Hills, like we talked about. We're not getting the full song. We talked about the song. The song's iconic. Unfortunately, we don't get it here. We try to talk as if we don't know the feature of the show. It's impossible with this song to not, thinking of the classic theme. Hills, that is.
I will say too, like Flat and Scruggs, right? Like obviously the Ballad of Jig Clampett becomes a huge song and like a hit for them. And then they do...
Yeah. Weird Al covered it.
Yeah, Weird Al covered it. Foggy Mountain Breakdown's a huge song from Bonnie and Clyde. It became like super famous, right? And that's sort of like the movie that changes Hollywood. So they're right at the top of that. And if anybody wants, this is a record I do have. Anybody wants to hear something funny, go look up the Flat and Scruggs album called Nashville Airplane. these two older bluegrass musicians are like lured into the modern music, and they start doing a bunch of modern covers. So they cover "Rainy Day Woman" by Bob Dylan. So to hear he's like bam, 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 everybody must get stoned is like fucking surreal. It's worth a listen if you got a few minutes.
I like their cover of "Party in the USA" by Miley Cyrus.
So I got my hands up.
I only know the Andy Bernard version of that song. Thank you.
Sabri.
Sabre.
The kind of narration continues on, and we see them driving up to their new house, and you get that like, wait a minute, hold it, and they legit pause the screen. It's like how they get here, like how did all this happen? It's like and we're like, let's go back, and they reverse the footage, so now you see them driving away from the mansion, and we get to the like, how did this all begin? How did these hillbillies end up in Beverly Hills? And before I even kind of go forward into like now that as the episode's about to start, there was talk. Originally, the idea was to put them in New York, and I guess it was like a cost thing where it was actually more cost efficient to do the show in California than a New York themed show. So that's why they weren't like the hillbillies of New York City, which
Beverly New York Billies.
Yeah, without the pun, I don't know if the show works the same way.
There's a lot of connective tissue to this too. Like if I'm thinking of a New York version of this, the Clint Eastwood movie Coogan's Bluff is like that, where he's like a Texas cop who has to go to New York City, and there's a John Wayne movie McHugh where he's like a Southern cop who has to go to London. There's a lot of these, like, this is the 60s, right, where it's like, take the good old boy and put him where all the dang hippies are. For some reason, they're just like...
And John Wayne appeared on the Beverly Hillbillies.
You know who was on this show and I did no idea about it, but had like 15 episodes? Sharon Tate.
15 episodes? Like she did like a whole run?
She's in like 15 episodes as like a recurring character. So like between all the movies she was in before all that Charlie Manson business.
I was going to say
Sharon
all that
Tate,
other stuff.
Yeah. That stuff that she's sadly most famous for. Also, fuck Roman Polanski.
Make sure if you don't know the story, watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is a completely accurate depiction of what happened to Sharon Tate.
I'm so glad that documentary Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out.
I watched that movie and I was like, huh? I mean, like modern Tarantino has just become like, I'm just going to tell my version of weird stories.
I kind of love it though, because it's the same thing as like the killing Hitler scenes in
yeah, that's kind of when it changed. He's like, I'm just going to rewrite history.
Like if you have the ability to, why not kill Nazis and kill the fucking stupid hippies, right? Like that rules.
So now we're getting back to like the origin again of like, how do we get to where we're at? So now we see where the Clampetts originally live, which is like this little old broken down shack in the middle of the woods. And Jed's walking in and he's greeted by Granny, and she's talking to him about like, hey, you gotta talk to that youngin' of yourn. And you see like a piece of clothing of hers. It's like, what happened? It's like, oh, she was fighting with a bobcat. It's like, the idea is she's like a very tomboyish girl, but also Granny just keeps mentioning how Ellie Mae's a woman and how her tits are getting big. And like that's come up like over and over again when she just keeps talking about this girl's tits.
Which made me wait for those tits and then was let down because they weren't that big.
Greg's like, all right, now let's see these tits.
Let's see ththese triple Ds.
Did you guys get like dared to say the word tits the most you could in 30 seconds? That felt fucking egregious.
It was just, well, because Granny's telling her like, you got to start she's too much of a tomboy. You got to start having her wear dresses and stuff. And like, she shouldn't be dressing like a man. She's like, look, and she's showing her the sweater. She's like, look, the buttons are popping off of her shirt again. And then there's references to like, he's saying like, well, she carries herself proud when her shoulders throw back. And she's like, it ain't her shoulders that's popping these buttons.
Okay, at this moment, the crowd loses their fucking mind, and it should be noted that this is the loudest audience we've ever had for any show we've covered in 200-something episodes. Like, this is...
Editing was different. They're still learning their ways. Yeah,
but I'm saying, like, this is one where they were just like, they really raised the crowd noise in this one. Distracting, almost.
It was very loud, but yeah, I think that's a lot of, I mean, and I'm just speculating, but it just feels like they just don't know how to properly mix yet.
Well, that old lady's talking about tits.
I will say, though, in 1962, like, a boob joke is not as prevalent as it would have been, right? So being like...
That's racy.
It's like, she said she's talking about that girl's boobs. That's crazy.
Hey, Pa, her button popped because of her tits.
So if you guys are listening, I want a counter.
Do you have a tit counter?
How many times one of you guys is the word tits? Why is this such a weird word to say? I don't know.
Would you prefer we use a different word?
Hey, they're a native bird of Massachusetts.
The Ellie Mae titted sparrow?
No, great tits. There's a great tit. There's like
I
a
still
small
giggle
tit.
when I hear the word titmouse.
Yeah, there's a tufted titmouse.
I feel like I'm honestly being prompted right now. I don't know what's going on. Like, you guys started some joke without me.
Well, Gordo, you go birding. Should we talk about the blue-footed booby instead?
Yeah. There's also red-footed boobies.
Learn something new every day. This whole time, I only thought blue-footed boobies existed.
There's multiple boobies.
Because people only remember alliteration.
Do the blue and red ones not agree with each other politically?
So they get into Granny and her boobies. See, Granny starts talking about how she needs to go out and stomp out the fire. The joke is she's like about to head out, and Jed's like, "You're not going out like that, are you?" And she's like, "Oh my!" And she looks down, and you see like she's like, I don't want to burn my shoes." And she takes her shoes off to do it barefoot.
This is like a Blazing Saddles joke. It's like, almost lost us a damn near $500 handcart. Like, they just keep throwing these jokes at you to like show how fucking backwards they are. I will say though, woman after my own heart. I'm barefoot now. I am barefoot 90% of the time, and it is always so much more comfortable than wearing socks or shoes.
I am a man who, due to flat feet, if I walk around barefoot too much, will just initiate plantar fasciitis. So thank the good Lord for the arched feet that you were given.
Well, you'll never be drafted.
Yeah. So Granny heads out. Right as she heads out, we have Ellie Mae walking in, basically like fireman carrying a dude. And like, he's like, "Howdy, Pa." And "What you got there? A stranger?" And she like drops him on the table. Like, "Well, where'd you get him?" Like, "I beamed him with a rock." Because she saw him like snooping around by the slough. And so she just pegged him in the head with a rock and concussed him.
What's a slough?
Where they make moonshine.
The still is where they make moonshine. The slough, I think, is part of the process of the distillation.
Oh, okay.
If that was the case, I was thinking about it after the fact. Like, so you think someone's snooping around your area, you throw a rock at him to like knock him out to prevent him from, fucking around. Like, why'd you bring him into your house?
To kill him.
Yeah, like what was the next plan when he woke
I was gonna say,
up?
this is also a little Texas Chainsaw Massacre too, right? She just like put him on a big hook.
Yeah.
That was the next move. Like, what if he really was like snooping around to bust them? Would they have killed them? Would this story have gone a completely different way?
That's the thing too. They keep making the joke. Is it the government tax agents, right? Like the revenue men or whatever. Like,
yeah.
So you stop him and he's at your house. Do you like bribe him? Do you kill him? Like, you got to kill him. He's gonna go back and tell what he did, but they're also gonna come looking for him.
She wanted to keep him like a pet, by the way.
Boys, it is in the public domain. We can redo this as a horror movie and keep everything.
I'm sure someone probably is already working on it the way things have been going lately.
The Beverly Shrillbillies.
Beverly Killbillies.
Oh, right, God fucking damn it. You just did the job that the other guy did.
Joe's the guy who named it the Hillbillies of Beverly Hills.
Oh, I just got fired and Ferg took over. Ferg, I concede my job to you, good sir. Go in good health.
So Ellie wants to keep him as a pet. He's like, "You can't do that." It's like, "Why not? I caught him." And as they're having the debate and like where they would put him, Granny heads back in after, stomping out the fire. And you have her like with the bit where she like puts her feet in the bucket of water and it instantly steams up.
This is the most Munsters joke ever.
This feels very Munsters, yeah. Also, like, this is why practical effects will always be better than fucking digital effects, because nowadays they would have just done like digital fog or whatever over it, but they just probably put like one piece of dry ice in that water and it looked fucking amazing 60 years later. Like, that's a great, easy, cheap way to do it. That would cost double the money and time to do and look 10 times as worse now.
So Granny notices the guy. She's like, "Who's that?" Like, "Oh, I caught him, around the slough." And she's like, "Oh, wait, that's the guy from the petroleum company I was talking to earlier." Like, "What's that petroleum?" She's like, "I don't know, but he said he wanted to go wildcat near the slough, so I told him he could." They're like, "There's no wildcats over there." "No, of course not, because of all that oil." So the joke is, first off, the fact that they're aware that there's oil over there. And then second, the fact that this guy was allowed to be there. And
I thought the whole ethos of the show was that Jed Clampett shot the ground and then discovered oil.
That's what's lacking in this story, yeah, because Jed's shooting for some food, and up from the ground came a bubbling crude.
Bubbling
right? So
crude.
Yeah, he like opens the pocket up of all the oil, so clearly he's done that already. But in the theme song, they make him look like he like sees that and he goes like, oil. And this, he's just like, well, there's oil in my way. What are you doing?
Oh, instead the show is, what's a phone? I don't know anything.
Where's Tulsa?
So one thing that I gathered too is like when Buddy Ebsen signed up to play Jed, like one big thing that came up was he didn't want his character to be like stupid. He's like uneducated was fine. So they rewrote a lot of stuff because Jethro is like the stupid character. But Jed doesn't know a lot of things, but it's just because he doesn't know them. It's not that he's an idiot.
Oh, Jethro can read.
That is true, but he's in school. And I don't know if school existed for Jed when he had the opportunity at that age.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure at one point he dives into an empty concrete pond. So I think that later on we learn that Jethro isn't exactly full of smarts.
You know, that was one thing about his character. But when you go into it here, yeah, this version, they are aware of the oil. I don't think they understand the value that it holds.
Oh, it's just in the way for them.
Yeah, it's preventing animals from being near the slough.
Yeah, like they can't shoot their dinner and it makes it harder to go to their whiskey. That's like a problem for them. They don't know there's like inherent value in oil. This is crazy too, because this is, if you just think of like where we're at now and like historically, right? Like there was a huge boom of oil and petroleum in the country, right? Like the whole southern, like Houston and all this area, like, and then from the 60s on, and then it all fucking died in the late 70s, early 80s and like decimated half the country. Like this only like was a boom period for like 20 years, which is kind of interesting.
Well, when you look at like the state of the world now, and like it's a super hot topic, and again, like we could do a hour-long episode. Yeah, we could do a whole thing about drilling and fracking and all this stuff, and then, you know, the ethics behind like what it does for the environment versus like the need for oil versus why are we even drilling for oil when we could be looking at other ways for energy, and like what does that mean? Like it's a huge thing now, but back then, before all these other, you could power up your car with vegetable oil, or like we have electric cars. Oil was king. You know what I mean? There were no ulterior ways to heat your homes and do all these things. Like oil was everything.
And this is not political either. We're all in the Northeast. I'm guessing every single one of you has an oil tank in your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have oil heated
to this day, you know, in 2026. So it's part of, like, if they one day were like, no more oil, be like, uh-oh, what do we do now? Right? Like you'd have to like really scramble.
Yeah, but in 2026, if we're like, hey, we're tapped for oil, like we could, there's other things that could be done.
Sure.
Yeah.
If anything, if you want to get into the conspiracy side, it's like, if anything, it's just measures have been prevented from exploring them because so many people are enriched by oil. Whereas if this happened in the 60s, they run out of oil, they're just fucked. The technology to get around it doesn't exist yet.
Now we have that sweet Saudi oil.
Yeah. Because of that, one day they will own World Wrestling Entertainment.
I was going to say, because WrestleMania is going to happen in Saudi Arabia next year?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
next
weird.
year.
Well, we just had the Rumble there.
Yeah.
And I'm so mad at, you know what? This is my soapbox. How dare you, Saudis? You know my political thing? If anybody, the Saudi regime, who politically I have some issues with, but I do align with on their love for old wrestling, if there's ever going to be a Royal Rumble where we finally got old wrestler entrants as surprises again, it was going to be this one, and then nothing.
They couldn't raise Yokozuna from the dead, so...
My Yokozuna.
But they're one of the, like, richest nations, and, like, what do we do with all this money? They're like, let's buy wrestling and start a golf company. It's like...
What about F1 racing? Like, okay, I guess you can have that. Who wants that? Yeah.
Let's have Tom Brady come out of retirement to be in flag football tournament.
As long as there's not a roast about me, I'm happy to go to your country.
We get it. You don't like Tom Brady.
So...
Oh, Beaker's here, guys.
So...
New impression unlocked.
So anyways, this guy finally wakes up. He's like, what happened? Where am I? And, you know, he's coming to, and they're kind of catching him up on what's going on. And eventually he lets them know, like, what he's doing there. And he says to Jed, like, hey, you know, like, there's a ton of oil in your land. He's like, yeah, I could have told you that. He's like, well, my company would love to pump all that oil out for you. So Jed's talking about, like, how he can't afford to have all that oil pumped out. He's like, no, we'll do it for you. He's like, no, I don't take favors from strangers. He doesn't understand, again, the value of the oil that he has. He's like, no, Mr. Clampett, like, you're a very rich man. And they're like, how big of a rock did you hit him with?
Black gold, Texas tea.
Ellie Mae says, no bigger than a hedge apple. I looked up what a hedge apple was. I don't know if any of you guys did. I was curious.
I actually did not. No, please.
No.
If you look at it, it almost looks like a green, bumpy orange. And, like, I looked it up. Like, if you crack it open, it looks kind of like a very dry fruit inside. And I got curious about, I was like, do people eat these? I guess technically you could eat them, but it's not really like in practice eaten.
It's like a crab apple, or it's like you could eat it if you were starving to death, but people don't usually make pies out of them or anything. Yeah.
So in theory, hillbillies who live in that area and there's not a lot of food.
Sure. I mean, if they're growing off the tree and you could eat it or do something with it, sure. But as far as like flavor and nutrients, I don't know if you're getting a lot out of them, but they do exist. They're a real thing. And like, yeah, it's weird. Like I said, it's almost like it looks kind of like a bumpy green orange if you were to look at it. And it just kind of breaks open. If you could crack it with your hand, it's kind of looks dryish and like almost like a kind of mealy version of like a apple or something on the inside.
I wonder if they'll grow in this climate, because we lived here, we put in a cherry tree of cherries that don't taste good and a plum tree of plums that don't taste good. So I would love to have an apple tree of apples that don't taste good. Just have a trifecta of fruits we're not going to eat, like look very pretty when they bloom.
I used to have a couple of trees with like fruit trees in my yard, like when we first got the house a million years ago, that have all since gone away because they didn't really produce I mean, like, if you're not maintaining them, like, deliberately, like, all they do is invite, like, squirrels and stuff to just eat all the fruit off the tree anyways, and it just rots in your yard.
And you have to, like, make sure they're trimmed so they grow properly and everything. But I will say, the first day I walk outside and that cherry tree has those, like, beautiful white cherry blossoms on it in the spring every year, my heart, like, opens up wide where I'm like, the winter's over, it's finally happened, look at those beautiful little, and then I'm like, get the fuck out of here, you squirrels, while they're climbing all over eating my fucking cherries.
Until the one day when your kid chops down your favorite cherry tree
and lies to me about it. She'll never be president.
This guy's saying like, hey, would you guys mind if I used your phone so I could call my boss? And they're like, what? It's like, you guys don't have a phone? He's like explaining what a phone is. And they're all looking at him like he's a complete lunatic. Like, you should probably sit down for a second.
I love this too, where he's like, well, for you guys, it'd probably look like a box on a wall. Because in the 60s, you're past that, right? You have like desk telephones.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like the hoi hoi, Mr. Burns.
Yeah, hoi hoi, exactly. On the big hook. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to ask, like, where's the nearest airfield? And they're like, airfield? Like, and Chet goes, you know, Granny, that's one of them airfields that's up in the air. And he like gives her a wink to be like, this idiot, the way he's been talking the whole time.
Because he's concussed. He thinks it's a concussed illusion. Yeah. We're going, we don't need roads.
They don't know airport.
Good for them. Because flying is terrifying.
He eventually runs out. We cut to the next morning and like, you know, you have the roosters crowing and Granny's cooking and Ellie Mae walks in. And like, she's like, good morning, Granny. And she like goes to do like a stretch.
Watch them buttons, child.
Yeah. You know, because they're talking about her tits.
You like that tit joke, Joe?
And then Jed heads in holding a pig. Granny, them pigs of yours got into the car. Did they drink much? I reckon they did. This here little fella's been kicking blue blazes out of the mule. Jed hands Granny the pig. And then she goes to take it out. And as she's doing it, it hiccups. That's been drinking the moonshine.
Have you guys ever had real moonshine before?
Yes.
We went to a moonshine place, but I don't think it was real moonshine.
I wouldn't count that as real moonshine, yeah.
In Nashville, there's Old Smoky, which is like probably the biggest like commercially like distributed moonshine.
Yeah, I don't count that. I mean like real like in the hills, someone had a still made moonshine.
Yeah, we had that, which was like, this one tastes like pumpkin pie. Like,
that's not the way. Gordo, you and I both have. What were your thoughts on it? I've had it 3 different times from 3 different people.
I had it once. My friend's mother brought it from Pennsylvania. And it was like pumpkin flavored, or it was like apple flavored or something. It is absolutely disgusting.
That's a big thing, is to like put like some fruit in it to like cut it up to make it not so strong, yeah.
Yeah, but it was like, there's the flavor of alcohol is so strong. It is like drinking rubbing alcohol. It's just not pleasant. There's no.
Because that's what it is.
I know.
I will say this. I've had it a few different times. I've had one like that, Gordo, for sure. Where we were swimming and I was putting my mouth in the pool water, being like, oh, trying to like make my tongue not burn. But I've had it too, where like it was flavorful, like it tasted like you could tell it was like a whiskey derivative or whatever. But like one sip of it, and I was like, my eyes are fucking crossed. Holy shit.
I was like, this is like my mother, like, who's told me, like, her friend used to drink this and she almost went blind. Like,
I think when you look at like this time, like look at like the Clampetts surrounding, it seems like for what it's worth, moonshine for them is being made just to do what alcohol is supposed to do. This isn't
Get
like
Granny drunk.
But also don't forget too, it's a revenue source for them, right? They're selling
Right.
it to make money too.
But moonshine is being consumed for the sole purpose of just getting you fucking sloshed. Like people aren't like, oh, I'm gonna make like a nice cocktail or something with this, and sit my moonshine on the rocks. Like I don't think that was like the real intent.
It's like Pruno in prison, right? Like it doesn't taste good. It's to make you get drunk enough to be like, I don't want to remember I'm in prison for this next 3 hours, whatever, right? Yeah.
Oh, that sweet toilet wine.
So many bananas.
wasn't that the original intent of Mountain Dew? Was to cut it with moonshine?
I'm not sure, to be honest, but I would believe that.
The original Mountain Dew logo too, which they put on I think the glass bottles now, which is so fucking amazing, is like a drunken hillbilly shooting a cork through his cap, which is pretty
Which
fun.
would like aid to that theory too. So
Yeah.
that would make sense.
And that would make sense too as to why Mountain Dew is so sickly sweet, right? Like it's probably one of the sweetest
Gross.
sodas there is. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it personally, but like it's so sweet that like that would be something that would be
Mountain Dew is one of those sodas that has like Mountain Dew drinkers are like, it's like a cult following. Like, not that a lot of people don't like Mountain Dew. There are people who drink Mountain Dew who exclusively drink Mountain Dew.
So yes, I was actually right. Mountain Dew was originally created in the 1940s by Tennessee beverage bottlers Barney and Allie Hartman, specifically as a mixer for whiskey and moonshine, designed to make White Lightning taste better. The original formula was lemon lime soda, similar to 7-Up, rather than the caffeinated citrus drink today.
Okay, I would love to try what it was originally made to be like versus now.
So in theory, it's not a far cry from having like a 7 and 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
In theory, but like a sweeter version.
yeah.
Now we see a helicopter in the sky, and you cut to inside, and we see like that guy from before, and he's in there with his boss, and like obviously the guy flying the helicopter, and he's telling his boss like, "There he is, Mr. Brewster. Like I'd say he's going to be one of the richest men in all of Texas."
This is one of those terrifying like 60s helicopters they don't make anymore where the entire frame of where the bodies go is
Yeah.
made out of glass. We're like, who designed this with any safety in mind? Well, don't worry, guys. It falls to the ground. It'll shatter. We won't have to worry about the impact. We'll all be cut to ribbons. Like, why did we decide to do this?
And basically the idea here is, hey, no one knows about this oil yet. We need to sign this guy and make sure that we have the rights to it before anyone finds out. So now like basically this whole idea is this guy discovered all the oil here. They're rushing to make sure that they're the ones acquiring it because he's sitting on a legit gold mine here. So we cut inside the house, and then Granny runs in while Jed's cleaning his gun. And she's like, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" And she's like, "Look what it just flew over the Blueberry Ridge." And like they're looking and they see the helicopter. And like, I think it's an overgrown chicken hawk when they first see it.
And this woman, if you think about it, she was born in like 1900. You know what I mean? Like, again, we're talking earlier about like the span of time in life where like she was in middle school when the Titanic fucking went down. You know what I mean? Like, so like now she's like, what is this flying thing? And has lived in this like this tiny little hamlet. I think they're in Oklahoma. We're guessing, right? Because they're calling Tulsa.
No, I thought they were in Arkansas because they said the Ozarks.
Well, they say Arkansas in the movie, but the Ozarks are Oklahoma, Arkansas.
I thought that no,
Missouri.
I thought Oklahoma was the plains, beginning of the
Yeah, I'm
plains.
not sure specifically if they outwardly mention where they start. They do mention the Ozarks, and then like those that fruit I was talking about earlier, like that exists right around that same area, but like it stretches like Arkansas.
And he's calling Tulsa, which would be like the nearest Oklahoma big city.
And then you wonder, like, when you talk about like they see a helicopter and they have no idea where it is, like how. Like, I get living, like, in the woods, but, like, how removed from society are you at a point where you don't even know what the modern world around you looks like?
I mean, not for nothing, but like, look at current day Appalachia. Like, yeah, they got like an idea, but they don't really have an idea.
Well, there are people who still live up in the hollers who like,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
or like, yeah, I mean, look, it's gonna come up later anyway. But if anybody has never seen The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia, it is one of the most wild documentaries of all fucking time. And also, Gordo, if you haven't seen this, if you haven't seen The Dancing Outlaw, the Jessica White documentary, and his family is then who they chronicle 20 years later in The Wild, Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. It's about mountain dancers. So like when Jed walks into the house later and does the like mountain dancing clogging, it's about those people, people who do that style of dance, but this family who's just like gone out and out in West Virginia for all these years. It's the
Are they the most inbred people? Are they the in? Because there's also ones from West Virginia that
no, they're not the most inbred people. They're not inbred. They're just like people of that world only. Look, we should do. There's this movie is so wild. Like I don't even know what scene to tell you about. I don't know if it's the time where they're so high on pills at the drive-thru for the Taco Bell, we're like, y'all got fried cheese sticks, or if they're knocking on a window being like, she's sad they took her baby. Like the whole movie is just fucking amazing. It is this crazy chronicling and this piece of human interest of a very specific subset of people in a very specific place. But I think if you wanted companion watching to like how could people be related to the Beverly Hillbillies to still existing in the modern world now, that is the movie to watch. And it is fascinating and amazing watch. We watched it at Christmas with my family one year because we were also obsessed with it. And my family, like my dad's side of the family is all from the South, like Moonshine, the fucking Georgia, right? Everything about that. We're like, oh, you have to see this. And we spent Christmas Eve watching this documentary once. Afterwards, we were just like, well, that was great. Like it was like the weirdest Christmas ever.
I watched a Muppet Christmas Carol.
I prefer Muppet Family Christmas, but that's a story for another day. We cut back into the helicopter, and the pilot's telling the guys like, "Hey, I can't land here. It's too like rocky over here. Like we're gonna have to lower the sling if you guys want to get down." And the guy's saying, "Hey, Mr. Brewster, that might be dangerous." He's like, "Well, don't worry. Like, you know, I'm sure you're gonna be all right. Like when you get down." He's like, "Wait, me?" It's like, yeah. And we get back to the house, and like they're like, "Look, I can see something." And we see like a quick shot now, and this guy's like hanging from the like way in the sky. You just see like the image of him like hanging off of the ladder.
This didn't work out for the Joker, and it usually doesn't work out for anybody else. You usually have to like have a real winch that lowers you down. Climbing down one of those things, a little scary.
Oh, the Jack Nicholson Joker.
Yeah.
That was a ladder.
Yeah, this is like a non-winch version of. Are they lowering him down in it? It's a harness, sort of, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like he was kind of hanging on like a rope.
No, he's got a whole harness around him.
Oh, does he? Okay.
He's just dangling. Because they think he's the claw of a giant bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they think he's like this giant bird has captured a man now at this point. And Granny's like pointing the gun. There's a point where they acknowledge, like Ellie Mae's like, "That's my stranger." Granny runs out and just starts shooting at the helicopter. Like, "Did you kill it, Granny?"
Multiple shots. Also, you hear one shot. You hear one shot and it's funny, and then you hear the third shot and you're like, "This has become too violent for this TV show." Where she's like aiming to fucking kill
the Beverly Hillbillies.
There it is, Hillbillies. Yeah, I'm still so mad at myself for fucking up that title. I'm gonna go home. I'll see you guys later.
So they're asking like, "Did you kill it?" And she's like, "No, but I didn't make it drop the stranger." And then now we get like that same kind of from earlier where now Ellie's just like holding this guy over his shoulder and like drops him down on the table again.
That's like a fun gag to do. Like I think repetitive shots like that in a sitcom always make me laugh.
Like as that stuff's happening, we're getting like an exterior shot to say like, "Hey, meanwhile," and you see Jethro like driving into the area. So like we haven't met his character yet. And it's like him and his mom, and he's driving all wild like towards the house.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, like I don't know if there was an underlying joke other than like he's a bad driver, but yeah, I mean it looked like he was like crashing into the house or is about to.
Not to bring up the Munsters again, but they do the classic Munsters fast motion.
Yeah,
there's a lot of fast motion in this. Yeah,
although like, can we even like call it the Munsters at that point? Because like this episode also comes out 1962, and I think the Munsters might have been 64.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
I think you're right.
Yeah, Munsters was 64. So
it's just the way you did that on film, then, right? There's no rear projection. You just do fast motion.
I think next time you watch the Munsters, you got to say they're doing some classic Beverly Hillbillies.
If you really think about it, basically the same plot, like the fish out of water type.
It is
thing.
very similar. Like
they
basically
treat these hillbillies when they do get to Beverly Hills like they're the Munsters. Like they don't want them around.
The only difference is there's nobody in their family who is like not like them.
Yeah, there's no Marilyn.
You take one part Munsters, you take one part Beverly Hillbillies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
There you go.
So now we cut inside the house. Jed runs in. He goes, Granny, grab a hold of something. Hang on. Cousin Pearl and that overgrown son of hers is headed right for the cabin. You come back and the car's still whipping around. And eventually it looks like the car slams into the back of the house.
It's the chicken coop.
Yeah. They wonder if it hit them. And it turns out, yeah, they hit the chicken house. And that's when Cousin Pearl walks in with Jethro right behind her, covered in chicken feathers.
You say Jethro's the most famous Beverly Hills hillbilly?
Like, gone on to do other things?
I just mean he's the character that people remember from back in the day.
I think he's the character by name that you remember the most. I think the name Jethro sticks out because there are so many, like, it became like the thing, like, if you're eating fast, it's like, okay, Jethro, like, that became like a thing, like, culturally, that's like outlasted the show. Like, people say that and don't know the origin of it anymore. Like, that still continues. Where, like, Jed Clampett.
Well, people know Jed's story, but they remember Jethro. He's like the Gilligan of this show.
I think to Jay's point too, Jethro became like a thing, and then Jethro Tull, right? Like there's like the name Jethro, I think is just more prevalent in culture.
Yeah, so like, because I don't think like Jethro takes over the show the way Gilligan takes over the show. You know what I mean? Like where he's like the real focal point. I just think that culturally, you just remember the character because he's so cartoony. There's things about him that stand out that you could talk about. Where like Jed is just like a simple man. You know what I mean? This is not like a lot there. Like his character is what it is. It's kind of a one-note character.
I will say though, I have known one person in real life named Jed, but no people in real life named Jethro.
Yeah, I've worked with a couple Jeds over the years.
What's Jed? Is it Jedediah? Is that what it's short for?
I think so, yeah.
I assume so.
Like, what's Jed?
But again, like that's the thing with names, right? Like you could just be Jed. I've met people who are like, I'm Bill. And their like birth certificate is Bill, or like Jimmy. The birth certificate is Jimmy, right? Like it's a weird thing where like, and like again, I'm saying this is my daughter doesn't have like a standard sort of name or a shorthand name. It's I don't know. We've just got a point where like we're talking to a bunch of Mike, Jasons, and Joes right here. We're just like, I don't know. I think our generation was just like, why don't we branch out a little bit, guys? How many Mikes do we know, right? How many fucking
So many.
How many Sarahs do you know? I know like 50 people named Sarah. That seems insane. Like we have to break away from things a little bit.
I think this generation has a bit.
I'd say the new generation name their kids after like the Twilight movies now. You're going to see 1,000 Bellas.
Well,
Yeah.
that was the thing for a while. I feel like that's tapering down.
But also, we grew up in the Northeast where like there's I've known plenty of Italian girls named Bella in my time too, right? Like that was a thing.
The whole thing is like, so Pearl and Jethro rushed over because Ellie Mae had told him about like, oh, Pa's going to sell, you know, some oil company came, they're going to sell to them. And Pearl's like the most worldly aware in this family, right? Like she's like the only outlet that could provide any like actual knowledge of what's going on outside of their living area to Jed.
Yeah, like she's the one who knows where Beverly Hills is and
Yes.
what it represents. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's talking to him like, how much money are they going to give you? Well, they didn't give me anything yet. And they're going over, she's like, and she's trying to like, she seems to understand, which is, it's interesting because that means she has an understanding that there's value to this oil, but didn't tell him beforehand when they were aware of it.
Maybe she dropped the hint to the oil company.
I'd want to move too if given the option. Beverly Hills in the 60s, we're having some fun right there. We're going to the 70s too. That's a whole cultural playground of fun stuff to do outside of.
Yeah, you can meet up with Tabitha.
I was gonna make the winky winky noise, but I can't make it. Also, I would like to say too, Max Baer, who plays Jethro, we're talking about Jethro, the only cast member who's still alive of this whole show.
I'm shocked anyone's still alive.
I just want to chime in for a second. We didn't mean to kill Max Baer Jr. before we did this episode. Jethro no longer is with us.
For those tracking, by the way, we've been on a bit of an unfortunate run where it seems like every episode we've put out recently, somebody from the show seems to die like the week we put the episode out, and we record a couple weeks in advance usually. So we apologize. It's not
Max Baer, live on, bud.
Yeah.
with that in mind.
But we have been known to kill a few people.
If you want a dead celebrity, send $1,000 to S1E1. We will cover the show.
We'll cover that show. What happens here is Pearl's going on, and now she's under the impression like, oh, Jed, like they took you, you know, like thinking he's getting screwed over. And Granny walks in. She's like, I told him the same thing. And she's like, Granny, how much are they paying him? And he said somewhere between 25 and 100. 25 and 100. So she's thinking he's getting like $25. He's like, I don't know. He's like, Mr. Brewster seemed to say, they're going to pay him some new kind of dollar. Well, and they're like, new dollars? Like, well, it's new to me. I've heard of gold dollars and silver dollars and paper dollars. Well, what kind of dollar are they going to pay you? He's like, something called $1 million?
To which, again, the crowd fucking explodes from this. And, like, it's a great joke. This is a great joke and a great reveal.
I did find the joke funny.
My thing is, he didn't want to be dumb. He wanted to be uneducated. But that's pretty dumb.
So they did some rewrites, maybe a few of these things. But again, it's one of those, like, is he using money conventionally? Like, he's living off the land and stuff. So, like, the value of dollars and stuff might not, like, he's heard of paper dollars, but he doesn't seem to use them, you know?
We also like to bring up the inflation calculator on these scenarios, which happen a lot in our episodes. So just going on $25 million, like the lowest amount, the equivalent to that now is $268 million.
Yeah, it's like a 10x. Yeah, it's crazy.
Imagine if somebody shot your backyard and all of a sudden they were like, here's $268 million.
Here's $250 million. Yeah.
He's just lucky he found the most honest oil tycoons on the planet.
Right?
Thank you for bringing that up, because I'll say this though. They give him 25 to 100 million, which means what that's worth is
it's like 20 times
$10 billion, right? Yeah.
But he probably would have given it to them because he thinks they're doing him a favor by clearing it off their land. So they made this offer that they didn't have to make because he has no idea of the value of it.
And this guy does this after twice being thumped in the head and being shot out of a helicopter. He still signs the deal for them.
Pearl hears this number and she's basically about to faint. Granny, give me the jug for moonshine. Oh, it's empty. I'll go fetch some. It's like, Jed, you're a millionaire. Like, yeah, that's what that Brewster fella keeps telling me. I just don't know how to take it. He means you're rich. Me? It's like, yeah, you're the richest man in these hills. Maybe even in the whole state. You can get whatever you want, go wherever you want. And that's when they started talking about, like, moving away. He's like, what do you think, Pearl? Like, should I move? Look around. Like, you're 8 miles from your nearest neighbor. You're overrun with skunks and possums and coyotes. You use kerosene lamps to light and cook. And he's going over all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, you're right. Why would I want to leave all this?
Also, have you ever been around a kerosene lamp?
No.
It is like throat painful burning. It's not as bad as it's worse than like a propane. I'm sure you've been around like propane heaters before, right? Like, if you've ever been like on a job site or something, or people who have to use propane, like it happens up here a lot, actually, sadly, where like people use them a lot in their tents. They like catch on fire because they're insanely dangerous. But like those fumes are so fucking painful to breathe in. For like their house, they're probably high all the time because they're walking this tiny shack with like fucking kerosene fumes going and drinking fucking moonshine.
But in his world, like, there's probably people in this neck of the woods that have less. So he's reading it as like, you're right.
Lucky
I have
compared to them, yeah.
Yeah, I got shelter and I got critters to eat flying around all the time and like all this stuff. So yeah, things are going good in his eyes.
Do you think they got an Uncle Joe bed? They all sleep in the same bed?
They sleep like the Willy Wonka family.
Yeah. Grandpa Joe, not Uncle Joe.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a transitional, like, we only get this living situation for the majority of episode 1. So like they didn't really delve into it. So it doesn't look big from the outside. I don't even see where they'd have a bedroom. So
right. Yeah, you kind of see like the middle.
Yeah, it's
room
a
of the
one-room
house.
shack.
Yeah, it's like those Plymouth Plantation houses.
They're like, we got a Murphy bed.
That's the chicken coop, though. What's it called now? Plymouth Plantation, by the way. I looked it up recently. I forgot we talked about this, but it's a Native American name now, right? Like it's totally changed. Yeah, I just remember to make that. I figured we should mention it because if someone looks that up or might not know what it is, but
yeah, we talked about it in depth in our thanks episode. If you want to watch the Cloris Leachman show about the early settlers.
Cloris Leachman, who's in the Beverly Hillbillies movie.
It's called the Plymouth Patuxet Museums.
Okay.
We cut to a little bit later. Now, Jed's just kind of standing outside and thinking, and Pearl walks out and talking to him. And she's trying to explain, like, Jed, I think you misunderstood me. I think you should move. You know where I think you should go? It's like, where? It's like, California.
California.
I don't know why that cracked me up every time they said it. I felt so stupid.
And she laid it out. She's the one who very specifically is like, I think you should go to Beverly Hills. And she's like, remember that time your pa took us to Eureka Springs to see that movie picture? Like that's where that is. Like all these celebrities and stuff live there, and so it's kind of funny because like jokes aside, if you were to like dissect this episode in a way it's not meant to, that's one of those lasting memories she's had. Right? They were kids. They got to see a movie. She saw California, and that was her Yul Brynner wanting to move to the Buckingham Palace. Right? She's like looked at this as like California is like this crazy world outside of here.
For a second, I wasn't sure. I forgot Yul Brynner was the character from Cool Runnings, and I was like,
yes, that Yul Brynner. Yeah.
Yul Brynner wanted to move to Buckingham Palace? It's a weird thing. I never heard that before.
But it's funny, though, because like I would say the only hole there when you look at it is, so Jed's gone to a movie? Like, that seems so out of character for a man who doesn't know what a helicopter is or a telephone.
Or a phone.
Well, I will say this, though. He mentions Tom Mix, right? And Tom Mix basically died in 1940. So we're talking about seeing movies pre-1940, so 23 years before this. You're seeing, like, non-talkie pictures, right? So, like, imagine as a kid or whatever, you go out and you see at the carnival or something, they're showing, like, Great Train Robbery or something, right? I mean, Great Train Robbery, people thought the train was coming through the screen at them. And they, like, freaked the fuck out and were, like, jumping off their chairs, right? Like, it was a thing that they, like, toured around and showed people and they just, like, didn't comprehend. So I can imagine his character in that scenario, but not so much, like, seeing a Hitchcock movie 2 years before that, right? Where it's like, them birds had vertigo. Like, I don't think he was going to the movie house to see something like that, right? He didn't see Rear Window and, like, figure that shit out.
Now he's thinking, he's like, that would be, like, he mentions Tom Mix, who he died in 1940. It'll come up. But yeah, like, by the time this episode comes out, he's already been dead for 20 years.
And he got shot at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you guys, the thing in Tombstone, like the last postscript of Tombstone, they mentioned Tom Mix. This is like the why I always know him, because it's Robert Mitchum reading the thing. He's like, when Wyatt Earp died, Tom Mix was one of his pallbearers. Tom Mix wept. That's the last line of Tombstone. So it's like in my brain fucking forever, just go, Tom Mix wept. That's why I didn't have to look up notes for that. I was like, oh, Tom Mix, the actor who wept carrying Wyatt Earp's coffin rather.
So there's a running joke here too, is when Pearl's talking to him, she keeps mentioning like, and we can come and visit you. And anytime she mentions, this has happened like multiple times in the episode, like 3-4 times, or she'll bring up the idea of like her going to visit and like looking at him and he's not picking up what she's putting down. And like, it just goes over his head every time. Like, cause she wants to be invited.
She wants fucking out. Yeah.
Another one the audience finds hilarious. And I'm like, it's not that funny, audience.
No, this is not funny, but I think any person, right, who has siblings or parents, whatever, like if you were to win $268 million, you'd be like, everyone gets $1 million, right? Like that's like the first move you do, right? It's like you like take care of everybody. It's like Jed should be like, why don't you just buy you a house or whatever? Like, you want to go to California, buy your own house. Like, I don't know. It's so much fucking money to just be like, you can have your own Beverly Hills house.
Especially knowing Jed, who doesn't care about money.
Right.
You think he'd be like, sure, take a handful of
But that's the thing is she doesn't outwardly ask, and he's not going to determine that on his own either. So like she has to like come out and say it.
She needs to get in the ear of the banker.
She's selling it more to him. She's talking about like the weather and how it never gets cold. Like, what do you mean it never gets cold? It just doesn't happen. They don't get any snow or ice. Like, well, can't they bring some in? Like, they don't want it. And talks about like, hey, remember like Granny and how like, in the winter she slipped on the ice and like broke her hip. He goes, yeah, poor woman. She's limping for 2 days. Quite resilient for a woman her age to break her hip and be back on her feet in 2 days. Or only had a limp. She, immediately after it happened. But she's like, in California, there's no ice, so that would have never happened.
But there are houses with 10,000 stairs in your front yard. There's other hip breaking issues at play.
Hey, listen, she's convincing me right now, given this weather that we're having.
Look, I hate the cold weather. Do you think any of us can afford Beverly Hills, though?
I mean, no.
Could you afford Beverly, Massachusetts right now?
Touche. Touche.
Which I think is also very hilly.
And expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
I don't know. She's like really selling him on. She really wants him to move to Beverly Hills. But I think, again, with this idea that maybe she would have been invited, but she's saying like, Ellie Mae could go to better schools out there.
She can visit.
Yeah, she would hope to. So then Pearl calls Jethro over. She's like, hey, your rich uncle's got a question he wants to ask you. What rich uncle? Like, rich Uncle Jed. And then he goes, Jethro, how come there's no ice in California? Because he's he goes to school. He looks to him like he's the smart one, when obviously, like, from what we know about the character, is the polar opposite. He's one of the dumber ones in the house. He's like, God. But when he asks, like, how come there's no ice in California? He goes, don't look at me. I didn't take it.
I couldn't not laugh at this. The crowd also really loves this joke.
It's because, like, Jethro's a dumb in such an innocent way that, like, it plays it's fun. You know what I mean?
He's got, like, strong Gomer Pyle vibes.
Yeah, he smiles. Golly! Diedrich Bader does a great job of that in the 93 movie.
I like when Pearl's telling him, like, too, like, also, like, because of the area in California, like, things could grow twice as big out there, like, talking about crops and stuff. And Jed's like, wow, Jethro would be a whopper, wouldn't he? Thinking, like, people will also grow twice their size in California.
Again, sign me up.
So she offers his services, and Pearl goes, if you want, he can help you move. He's awful handy at lifting and towing and can help you drive my truck. It's like, oh, I couldn't let you do that. It's like, well, Jed, we're kinfolk. What's mine is yours. And then I could come out later and ride it back with him and bring his unmarried sister along. And we could visit for a while. And looks at him again like, huh? Again, nothing.
She lowers her glasses each time. That's the cue to the audience to laugh.
As glasses wearers, does anybody here do that?
No, but I'd use it to flip people off. I adjust my glasses.
Oh, that's smart.
To move along, we cut to later on and we see Mr. Brewster, and he's sitting at a table with Jed and Pearl. He's basically confirming, like, Mr. Brewster, like, your cousin's right. Like, Beverly Hills is a great area to move to. And it's where, like, a lot of millionaires settle in, and movie stars and all this stuff. Like, Jed's asking about, is Tom Mix there? It's like, oh, I'm afraid Mr. Mix is dead. And that's oh yeah, what's the matter with me? He got shot at the end of that picture. So he did see a movie. He did not know that it was fictional.
And nobody show him wrestling.
Well, in 1962, everyone thought wrestling was real.
And also why Southern wrestling lasted longer than any non-national wrestling, right? Like, the Southern wrestling promotions, like, to them it was fucking real, Memphis went to 94.
My mother likes to tell a story about my grandfather who grew up in Oklahoma. His, like, dad really liked wrestling, and my grandfather kept being like, it's fake, right? And it went on for a bit, and my grandfather brought my great-grandfather to a wrestling match. And then after that, he never watched wrestling again. Kind of killed it, but...
I thought that was going to be a fun end to that story.
Yeah, oh, so he ruined the magic and wonderment of something he enjoyed?
Correct.
My great-grandfather got punched in the face by Mil Mascaras. So, like, I thought that was going somewhere, yeah.
Like, Puerto Rico, like, was, like, even further than the South, like, the believability and stuff, like, they were the ones who would, like, throw cups of piss and stuff at
batteries
at the
and
bad
rocks.
guys.
Yeah. They would sell rocks.
Shoot at and stab and kill Bruiser Brody. And
Eesh. But it's okay, because we put Carlos Colon and his whole family into the fucking Hall of Fame, right?
Mexico, too.
Mexican, like, wrestling's, like, very big in Mexico, like, the lucha style, but, like, Puerto Rico is more established as, like, they had those, like, roots of, like...
It was a different crowd.
Now that I think of it, like, the Mexican wrestling is kind of like samurai. Like, they have, like, they're committed to the luchador way.
Lucha Libre.
As far as, like, the commitment to, like, the mask and, like, the meaning and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, and losing the mask and what that means, yeah.
There has to have been an episode with, like, a crossover of a wrestler on this show, because they had just about every celebrity on there at one point.
Well, at this point in LA, too, it would have been, like, Freddie Blassie and, like, Greg Tolos, right? So, like, yeah.
So there's continued conversations happening between Mr. Brewster and Pearl and Jed and talking about the area, and like, we're getting a few jokes in between. Like, he's talking about all the nice area, and, like, Mr. Brewster's talking about where he lives. Like, oh, maybe I'll, like, get a house next to you.
You think he's Punky's great-great-grandfather?
Yeah, Punky. That's so sad, though. It's her great-great-grandfather. He's this rich guy who owns a bank, and Punky's just like...
an orphan?
My friend lives in a fridge.
He's talking about, like, where could he afford to live? It's like, with your money, you could afford the Taj Mahal. He's like, okay, I'll take it. No, I was making a little joke. Okay, go ahead. He's like, you see, the Taj Mahal is in India. Goes, Mr. Brewster, you're a nice fella, but I've heard better jokes.
I love this. This is them writing themselves into a corner and being like, people will laugh. People will laugh. Just let it ride.
They flat out buy his land, or do they just buy drilling rights?
I think they just bought the rights.
I think it's the rights, but like you're not gonna live there when they have to set up a bunch of like oil derricks and camps and stuff.
They don't want him in their neighborhoods though. Like this comes up next. So it's like you'd think they'd like tell him to like you can build a giant house here or something like that.
Well, I
Just to-
think sure, but it was basically Pearl right from the start was like, you should move to Beverly Hills. And then also, I think the idea of moving was only because like she's saying you should leave because he was debating staying anyways. And she's like, no, like the world, there's a better world than what you know it to be. And that's what really prompted the move instead of just building a larger house in the woods.
But oil derricks and oil finds always create boom towns, basically, right? Like that's half the country was built around oil boom towns. So that area was going to get filled out very quickly, and you don't want to be the one house around like 7 brothels that are there in bars to service
Speak
the
for
oil
yourself.
workers. Well,
Yeah.
Jed probably doesn't want to be.
Listen, they could supply the moonshine to the bars.
and the kinfolk.
Well, no, because moonshine still, even like after like prohibition, was not legal to like make your own moonshine.
To this day, it's still illegal because the whole reason for moonshine is to not pay taxes. Like that's the main reason for moonshine.
That's
you're
why I
making
think,
liquor.
what was that show, Moonshiners or something like that?
Yeah.
Where like it was a reality show. It's like I call such bullshit on that show because it's illegal. They'd shoot you.
I don't think they would shoot you now.
You're gonna take a lot of those like TLC shows with like a grain of
It's a
salt.
grain of salt,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you always hear about like Bear Grylls being like, "Can I have some Doritos?" after they fucking turn the camera off. You know what I mean? Like he's not out there really eating grubs all day
I
long.
love
you know?
Capri Sun.
I love drinking my
What's
own piss.
Well, it's funny too because you guys were talking earlier about like the modern day Beverly Hillbillies reality show idea, and like the idea of that isn't that far of a cry from like those like breaking Amish shows where they take Amish people
Yeah.
and they throw them into civilization. You know?
But they get to do that anyway. That's Rumspringa, right?
Yeah.
Rumspringa!
Yeah, so they get like their little like taste of it, but then like when they're like fully like leave the Amish.
It's wild to me that some people are like, "I'd go back."
Don't like the majority of them go back?
No, if you like leave, you get like shunned though. But so like even when you come back, there's restrictions.
But if somebody was like, "This is Seinfeld, and these are Cheez-Its, and this is Miller beer," I'd be like, "I'm living here forever. Fuck you, Mom and Dad. I'm never going back. I don't want churn butter anymore. Fuck off."
Miller.
Look, I'm a man who knows what he likes.
This is These are buttons.
Okay, Joe, that's a button.
Granny's asking, "Hey, is the foreigner staying for supper?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm ashamed I didn't even ask him." He's like, "Oh no, I don't think so. It's like I gotta head out." He's like, "Oh, it's no trouble." He's like, "Granny, what are you cooking tonight?" It's like mustard greens and possum innards.
Ugh.
Like, "Ooh, you hear that, Mr. Bruce?" Like he's all excited about it. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Will that change your mind?" He's like, "No, not this time." Like, "Oh well, come back tomorrow. We'll be having leftovers." That's the thing about possum innards; they're just as good the second day.
What a bummer to be like, "What's for dinner tonight?" Possum innards, and being like, "So I don't have to ask what's for dinner tomorrow night either." Like you're having the same meal exactly the next day.
Possums are pretty big.
They are.
True. But they're having the innards.
What exactly is the innard?
I assumed organs.
Yeah, it's some organ meat.
Like its liver and its stomach and all the other.
Yeah, like liver and tripe and yeah.
Well, I do like me some tripe.
You really eat tripe?
Yeah,
Ew.
I grew up like
He's
it's one of those things, like-
Italian, don't forget.
So am I, but ew.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I'm half Italian, but that was never a thing we got.
well, I had it not knowing what it was. You know what I mean? Like anything else. Like they're like, try this. You're a kid, and like it that's the deal when you're trying to like get your as your daughter gets older, you're gonna need her to try certain things that she might not be willing to try. You have to blanket it with like, try first. Tell me if you like it. Now I'm gonna tell you what it is.
This is gluten.
But by the time it was discovered what I ate, I had
Yeah, her
already
own bags of real Cheez-Its. She's fine.
already told them that I liked it. So you know what I mean? Like, so there's no going back. I already admitted I liked it.
Look, I get that. Like, you don't know what it is until you do. I just feel like after a while, I'd probably be like, I don't want to eat that.
Now we're cutting to later on, and we see them packing up the car, and Ellie and the dog Duke are sitting in this makeshift back seat. It's almost like stadium seating. Like this is again like a very iconic look for the way that like the driving shot of them coming into Beverly Hills in the intro.
I'm not a huge... I love dogs, but I've never had a dog. My parents have had dogs. I've never owned a dog myself. But like when I see a droopy, bloodhoundy dog like this, I want one so fucking badly. I just want to like pet this dog on the front porch fucking forever.
I want to make it befriend a fox and then make them hate each other.
Oh.
But yeah, so like the look of the car, again, you kind of even think about the Munsters car. Like you could like again derive like that comparison again.
Oh, you mean the Hillbillies car?
It's also in a modern car, like a 21-hour drive. They're driving in a car that probably goes maximum 30 miles an hour with no roof on it. This is like when they in the Dumb and Dumber when they go up the fucking mountains in the little motorbike. Like I can't even imagine how much of a nightmare this drive would be.
It's not just no roof. There's no windshield either. It's smashed out.
Imagine how many bugs would I drove to Acadia and the amount of bugs that were on my car was ridiculous.
If you drive on the highway anywhere in the summer, you like go for an hour and you get out of your car, you're like, ew. You just like explode bugs the whole time, yeah.
When Jed sees Ellie and the dog sitting next to each other, it's like, oh, like, can't have the dog sit there, like, where's Granny gonna sit? Like, oh, it doesn't matter, she's not coming. It's like, what are you talking about? She said she's not gonna come. So now he like goes and finds her, and you just like see her like sitting out back by herself. Like, what's all this nonsense about you not going to California? She doesn't really see the point in going. Said if like, you know, if the good Lord wanted her in California, he would have put her there. He's like, maybe he's just getting around to it. The book says he moves in mysterious ways. You know, they keep talking, and I mean, basically she's like, you know, afraid of the move.
I saw this joke coming from a mile away. Maybe it's because like everyone knows that iconic like scene of her in the chair on the back of the truck.
Yeah.
It's like, I know she's going to be like, refuse to go. And it's just going to cut to her still in the chair, but on the truck or car.
Also, rocking chair is comfortable, but it's still a wooden chair. That's a long 30-hour drive in a wooden chair.
I know, I'm on a couch and I get uncomfortable at recording 2 hours.
Yeah, my lower back hurts we've been recording for an hour and 32, and I'm like, my back is killing me right now.
Basically, the joke was like, you know, I'm not budging out of this rocker, and like you said, it cuts to her now tied to the back of the truck, but like in a way that like on top of all the stuff, so now you have the driver's seat, and I already said like Ellie and the dog look like they're another level, and now she looks like the third row, like it was almost like movies, you know, theater style seating, like the way it's set up, like that stadium style. So she's like way up in the air,
eating bugs.
Yeah, and you have them head out. It's funny though, because you see them drive off that way, but then when it cuts afterwards to the car, she's now down a level. She got out of the rocking chair and eventually makes her way down into the second level.
I'd like to think there's an in-between scene where she falls off.
Yeah, I think it would have been funnier if they made it look like she drove the entire way that high up.
And then you could say, Grandma's off her rocker. Like, that's like such an easy joke to make.
So eventually they pull up to the Beverly Hills area and you see the sign. Like, why do they call them hills? Like, we got moles that could push up higher ridges than that.
Is it hilly? I imagine it's hilly.
Yeah, California is pretty hilly. If you think of like, I mean, that whole part of California, like Topeka Canyon, right? Like, you think of all the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
Like, the Hollywood sign is up on a big
hill, yeah.
And Beverly Hills versus like that Hollywood area is very close. Like, they're right next to each other. So, yeah, it's like a hilly area, but not hilly in the way that they expected, right? They're seeing flattened roads and stuff like that. So they don't understand like a strip of land that can be flat and call it hills.
A lot of ghost sightings on those hills, on the Hollywood Hills near the sign. I watched the Ghost Adventures episode.
Oh, you mean there's a lot of crazy people who think they see ghosts who live in that area?
Did you say ghosts or goats?
A lot of goats. He said goats. Goat hunting.
I was actually talking about goatsy.
For those of you who don't know, just give that a quick Google.
Which, like, I blame Gordo 1,000% for this, but, like, I don't even know how many times I can say I've popped into the fucking video call for this, and there's just, like, the lemon party picture is just up on the screen with Gordo with a smile. Like, okay, thanks, man. This is what we're doing tonight. Cool. And again, I still feel bad for the one man who's only sucking. Everyone else seems to be getting so much more out of that than that one poor man.
Well,
he does what he loves.
Again, if you're an adult, look up Lemon Party if you're curious. I would just be aware it's not.
If anybody plays this in a car with kids, I'm sorry. Please do not do that.
Don't do it around kids. Don't do it at work. It's not appropriate. I will say, like, I love that, especially like Lemon Party obviously like fell into like a certain niche. Like, it was a lot of people know about it, but it was like, you know, not everyone in the world. Like, my parents don't know what that is. And I love that like 30 Rock did the Lemon Party joke so many times. And it was just like such a wink for like such a small percentage of the people who watch the show.
Is the site still up, or is it just like you Google the photo?
I think
Cordo, you'd be the expert on this one.
Oh, I'm not sure because I haven't checked it recently. All right, Gordo.
Cordo closes his private browser real quick.
Oh, fuck it. 1 second. For science. All right. Ready? Watch this. Why did it get better?
That's so much better. Why does he have like a 1907 firefighter helmet on? It's so funny.
Well, we could use that one on Instagram.
That's true.
I'm not sure, but
It's worth a shot.
they made it more work suitable.
I just like that it's firefighters in love now.
We salute you, our brave firefighters.
Moving right along. So now we cut to like the Beverly Hills bank, and we have like the guy who like runs the bank or whatever, and he's having his secretary transcribe some stuff for him, and they're talking about the deposit of $25 million for the Clampett account. As they're like talking about like his assets and everything, like someone knocks at the door, and this guy enters, and he's like, "Oh, sorry to interrupt." And the continued conversations like, "Oh, so what are we doing when the Clampetts get here? Like, are we setting up like a red carpet reception?" It comes up that like Mr. Drysdale, the head banker guy, like the guy who like runs the bank, is saying like how his wife isn't too happy because they basically sold the house directly next to theirs, and they don't know like anything about these people, you know? So like now like you set them up here and like your new neighbors, but we don't even know anything about them. And he's like, you know, I know what kind of people they are based on like how much money they have, you know? So like it's not going to be an issue. So like obviously that's the joke, right? So like this big banker is like, "Oh, we have this guy with $25 million moving in next door." Like, great, you know what I mean? Just like fellow super rich people, unaware that what they're gonna get.
Is there a reason why he thinks his name is J.D. Clampett? Did I miss something? Or
It's because of J.D. Rockefeller.
okay,
Yeah, that's like they make the joke. It's like J.D. Rockefeller, because just at that point he was the most rich person in the whole country. So I think they're making like a apples to apples there, where it was like he must be rich. They'd be like if it was like, you know, Donald Crumpf or something, right? You'd be like, oh, he must be rich.
okay.
And they're talking about how they've had like the gardeners trying to get everything ready at this house, like for when the Clampetts show up. They've been like having them work like nonstop, basically trying to get everything, you know, set up for them in time.
I think I'm a member of the wrong bank because this bank really takes care of them. And
I think when you have that kind of money, they want to keep your business and money. So
So yeah, if you have 25 grand in,
When you have $250 million, I'm sure they will give you a red carpet reception.
And the phone rings like as they're talking about like how they're getting everything ready for them, and they're like, "What happened?" It's like, "Oh, the Clampett estate's being invaded by a band of outlaws." Like invaded. Yeah, they have the gardeners at gunpoint, and then you cut and you see the Clampetts like legit holding guns, and there's just like 3 gardeners who are like confused with their hands up.
this is my favorite joke of the whole thing. They think the gate to this mansion is the front of a prison. That's
Yes.
so fucking funny. What great writing that is.
It's like, "Oh, lucky we came along when we did." Like, yeah, that's the truth. Whether we're slipping through that gate another 5 minutes and the whole darn prison would have been empty.
And these people too who would have come out of the Depression era of like the most famous, like the Pretty Boy Floyds and the Bonnie and Clydes, right? Where like John Dillinger escaped prison and like committed more crimes. So like this is like very fresh in the public conscious, probably their conscious more too, because a lot of that was like South Midwest.
When they're looking, it's like, "You sure it's a prison?" And Jed's like, "Yeah, look at how big this place is. Like, this is like, what else could it be? Like this size, there's no need for this to be anything but." And like the police sirens start ringing, and Green is like, "You hear that? Hot diggity, there's bobcats in these hills."
She thinks the cop car noise is bobcats is like the funniest thing, but she knows of the revenue agent, so she should know what a siren is.
It's like, "No, those are sirens. Somebody's coming. Like someone called the law. Oh, I reckon is going to be mighty grateful for what we've done." And then it flashes, and you just see Jed and Jethro behind bars. Folks out here got a strange way of showing how grateful they are.
This is like, you know, McDonald in jail and Dirty Work. He's like, wait a line.
But the worst part is the disrespect. That and the other thing.
So they're wondering, like, "Oh, I hope Granny and Ellie Mae are okay." It's like, didn't they get into a big scrap like when all this was going down? It's like, yeah, Ellie Mae whipped herself 3 policemen and 2 convicts. So 2 of those poor gardeners, Ellie's just beating the shit out of.
That breaks my heart. Like, she beats up the cops and you're like, nah, whatever. But like, she fights 2 poor guys who are just like, I was here to cut the hedges. At that point, she should go to jail. Ellie Mae should stay in jail.
Yeah. And then Mr. Drysdale, the banker, like storms in, upset about the mishap. Like, what's going on here? You mopped up one of the richest men in the country. Mr. Clampett, I don't know how to apologize. I'm deeply humiliated. And then this is when he sees Jed for the first time. He's like, what have you cutthroats done with J.D. Clampett? He's like, I am J.D. Clampett. He's like, and I'd appreciate it if you let go of my Sunday shirt. He's like, you're J.D. Clampett, the oil millionaire? Yep. And this is my nephew, Jethro. They unlock the cell. He's like, Mr. Clampett, on behalf of the entire city of Beverly Hills, I extend our deep and humble apologies and, for the mishap. He's like, we want you to know how happy we are to have you and your handsome nephew, your lovely daughter, and your beautiful mother.
Hey, she is beautiful.
And and we cut to a limo driving into the gates of the new house, and Jed starts yelling, like, stop this car. Drysdale, you tricked us. You took us out of jail so you could bring us right back here to this prison.
And fast motion running for 5 minutes.
Yep.
This is the point too where you're like, you're getting fatigued. You're like, this episode's over, right? Like,
I was so angry when I thought this was the end.
Me too.
And I looked at the time, and there was another 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes.
And here's the thing: 6. It was like 6 more minutes.
This is where I said in the chat earlier, where I was like, I'm at the 18-minute mark, and I want to scream.
So if you were watching this episode now, like not even. I talked about how it was cut for regular television down the road, so the 22-minute cut. If you were to watch that version of the episode, there's a few changes, right? So they cut down the intro a little bit. There's minor cuts in the scenes that are like minuscule because there's a lot of like long pause in between sentences and stuff that they trimmed. But basically, the biggest difference is this is where that episode would end.
Where it should end.
Yeah.
Right.
logical stopping point. 1,000%.
I would argue yes. And even this scene is like runs on for a long time. So the credits are rolling and it's just nonstop, them just running away. Like
Granny takes a great bump.
yeah. And it's funny, like them all sprinting away thinking that they're trying to take him to jail. But yes, I agree. The way they cut it for television later down the road, this is the logical way to end this. So they're playing the closing credits. They're running. Everything makes sense, like close of episode. But that's not how it ends up being.
So at the beginning of the episode, it starts with that goofy narration, and then the narration disappears for the majority of the episode. And now suddenly it's back, but it's a different person. It just doesn't make sense. The format change made me really confused, and it really changes the tone.
Now it's Drysdale, and it gets like, and now for the future. And we see like Mr. Drysdale like talking to camera, like has that like classic, I don't want to say documentary look, but a lot of those like public service videos and stuff from like that era had that vibe, like, hi, I'm so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. So he's like in his office talking to camera.
I'm Troy McClure.
But he's doing it's still in character. They're talking about, oh, we finally rounded them up and convinced them that the Stonewalls, aren't a prison. And we kind of cut and we're getting all these like kind of little scenes now. And yes, I don't think that this whole area was, there's a couple like funny little gags that happen in here.
This was all, I think, added because the series is based on, like as we discussed earlier, it's a fish out of water type of thing. And the entire pilot is them in their ancestral home. Like they were doing this to show you what the show's going to be about. So you don't just judge it only on.
Yeah. And this is what it's going to be like every week when you tune in and they're in Beverly Hills.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a pretty dress, but she's barefoot. Oh, look, she just suplexed a guy. You're just like, all right, sure.
So, yes, and that's, it makes a lot of sense you want to give them that taste of like, so like this is what the show's really going to be like moving forward to a degree. And we're getting all these little things like Granny's like eating the grass and talking about how like they got good soil in the area and like how, they're going to be growing corn out there and
there's a cement pond.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And Jethro sees what he thinks is, a pond, but it's a pool in the back, and he's saying that it's a cement pond, and He's talking to, Jed. We got that shot when Jed's inside. So we do see a little bit of the inside of the house. It's a giant mansion.
Yeah, and he's doing the classic like dance.
Doing that little tap dance thing.
Mountain dancing.
And then
his way of checking the foundation. So he was like doing that dance to make sure everything was structurally sound.
Hey, when you're just used to like shacks, that's can't fault the man.
I guess it's similar to like knocking to find the stud. You're like, where can I hang this photo?
Well, you got to check the foundation, because in a shack, if it falls on you, you'll probably be fine. But if a mansion collapses on you, you're a dead man.
Look, we're all living in a post-COVID world right now. I've heard of plenty of people who bought houses during COVID who skipped the inspection, who bought houses with a not sound foundation, and that's a $40,000 to $80,000 issue you're dealing with. So he's not wrong here.
So I'm hearing if they did mountain man dancing, they would have been fine.
Yeah, I don't need inspection. Imagine me buying your house and I just mountain man dance. Sure, my wife would love that.
If it shaked, you say no, you don't buy the house.
When they're talking about the cement pond, he talks about how there's like at one end, the deeper end, there's a board sticking out of it. I can't figure out what it's for though. And Jed's saying, Jethro, how could you be so dumb? That's where you sit on when you're fishing. Oh, while you fish? Yeah.
Like Al Capone did when he had brain-ravaged syphilis in his last days.
We talked about this in an episode not long ago, but me and Ferg went to the prison where he stayed at in Philly.
We saw his syphilis.
I've been to Alcatraz and seen his cell in Alcatraz. It's supposedly haunted. I went in. My mom was like, "Why did you go into the haunted?"
They said that about the one we went to too. I saw no ghosts, none.
I was just like, "It's windy." It's like, how was it? It was windy. It's all I can think of.
It's a giant metal building. There's echoes everywhere.
Right, yeah. Like, I'm sure some bad shit happened here, and I'm sure the food was bad, and people got murdered and, like, sexually assaulted. But, like, in 2020 or whatever, I was
Classic prison.
It's just prison. It's just a cold, dirty, scary prison. It's not, like, scary or...
I know. I seen Oz.
Yeah, I've seen Oz. I know what happens if you're Peter Criss from Kiss.
And then we get, like, a cut to the Ellie Mae situation, and we find out, like, her cutscene is, like, how she was arranged to go on this date with some guy. You see her in like, she's in like a nice dress and like, she looks stunning. Despite her being a tomboy like character, like she's a beautiful woman. And, so now that we're seeing her like in like a nice
tits,
dress,
right?
Yeah, especially with those tits.
Damn buttons.
But, so she's in a nice dress. And then you pan though, and you see she has no shoes on. So for those of you who listen that are feet people, there's a chance to look at Ellie Mae's toes.
Donna was very aroused.
As a non-foot arousal person, I was just more like, good for you for no feet. It's more comfy at home to be barefoot.
Listen, thank God I don't have feet.
You think I don't have feet?
I'm sorry, I'm not into feet.
I'm not here to kink shame, but if you want to do that, you go right ahead.
Yeah, I don't care what people are into. Go for it.
She gets introduced to like her date, and then he goes to like give her like a kiss on the hand, but she thinks he's like attacking, so she like grabs him and like flips him to the ground. Why'd you do that? Like, that rascal was fixing to bite me.
I wanted to look up. I forgot to look who, if anybody, because that's like a legit wrestling bump. Like, who was the stunt coordinator on this, right? Because like, you're in LA,
it was a good
and there's
flip.
wrestling. Yeah, like there's a good like kind of like face lock flip over the back. Is probably like an LA wrestler guy at this point, right? Like, fuck, what's his name? Who like taught Roddy Piper to wrestle? Who was like a stuntman in a million movies? Gene LaBelle, Judo Gene, probably like one of those people, right? Who like did that stunt to like not kill the fucking guy.
Best arm drag in the game.
It was 1962. That was a high spot, sir.
And then we get Drysdale again, sending us to another scene now, and he's like, "Oh, and the worst was the day that like I was like got locked out of the gate or whatever." Like he's using the intercom and he's trying to talk to Jed in the house, and it's like you cut to Jed inside. He hears the voice and he's like looking around. Thinking that Drysdale's like stuck in the wall somewhere.
Help me, step hillbilly.
Yeah, and he's just trying to get out of the gate so he could drive off. He's like, "Stay right where you are. I'm going to grab the axe and have you out of here in no time." So another like, he doesn't get how the intercom works.
62, by the way. Pretty impressive to have like full house intercoms.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, they're one of the richest families.
I wonder if these are all clips from future episodes.
It doesn't feel it because
No.
they feel like little quick like anecdotes.
This feels like they filmed an hour's worth of TV and they were like, cut, and make it work. And they probably just cut into something else after, like, that wasn't like a full TV show to like make up the time. because we've watched a lot of older shows too, where like there was only 2 minutes of commercials in a 70s or 60s show usually. Now there's 8, right? Like, so they had a little more leeway with how much time on the TV they could have.
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing would be to look up when this first aired and what aired right after it. Like what got truncated, right? Was it like news? Was it some sort of weird thing where like they just put on like was it commercials only for 10 minutes or something, you know?
A telethon.
Yeah, was it Jerry Lewis going, hey, MDA stuff?
To close out the episode, it's like he's done telling that. That was like the last kind of cutaway tale he's telling. You know, we see him again, Drysdale, and he's telling this. He's looking at camera when he's telling it, but then like as that's rounding out and he's done telling the story, he goes to like lay down, and that's the reveal that all of this that he's been telling us was actually he was talking to his therapist, and he's in like a therapy session right now. I feel like that's kind of, as the comparison's now been made a million times, another thing where like has that same vibe from like a Munsters type of episode.
Yeah.
Because I could see that whole thing too with like, oh, like all these situations are so weird, like it's driving me crazy. And like the normal person looks like the crazy one for not acknowledging the craziness in real life. Like I think the comparisons, now that you said it, are kind of crazy. You could really side by side a lot of aspects of both shows.
My issue with this reveal is he only started narrating in the last 6 minutes of the episode. You needed to start the episode with him and show him talking. Let him do the intro or something.
I think
And
we have to
then-
greenlight or cancel. We're going to have to differentiate. Do we greenlight the pilot before the last 6 minutes or after? Like, that's going to be, to me, that's a difference, you know?
Yeah, actually, that's interesting. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And also, I will say, though, forward thinking of them, too, because, like, I mean, at this point, people are like, oh, like Sigmund Freud? But, like, most people didn't go to therapy in 1962, right? And if you said you were going to go to therapy, you were, like, branded, like,
Crazy.
fucking weirdo or crazy person.
You're
Yeah.
assuming he went by choice. Maybe he had an episode and got sentenced.
Bank ordered.
But yeah, with all that being said, we covered the episode and we've talked for a while. So like to just get into the greenlight or cancel, because I don't think there's like a lot of, you know, we've kind of gone over it all. I don't know how much really else we could add. So might as well just dive right into the greenlight or cancel. And Joe, I'll start with you.
So I think the premise is always solid, right? The fish out of water. We talked about that earlier. I think there's a lot of genuine laughs in this. I do think it's overly long, right? So I mentioned a minute ago, right? Like, do I greenlight the 28-minute version over the 32? 1,000%. I don't think we needed that. I think that's episode 2. I was sold on what's going to happen here before all of that. And I feel like sometimes less is more. Or like, we understand they're moving to California and they're fucking hillbillies. It's going to be weird going forward. We don't need to just pile it on at the end of it. So I'm going to say greenlight, not just because it's a classic show and it led the way for a lot of things, but I think if we have this and don't think of the add-on piece, and I don't even need the theme song, which is great, obviously. We'll get that later. I think you can be like a whetted appetite and go into wanting to see the next one without that extra little bit. I think, yes, it's a green light. I want to see episode 2, and I want to see all that stuff happen in episode 2, which I think was the original plan, probably. So green light, but weird fucking add-on. And as a personal note, as somebody who had to really work through getting the notes for this one today with work, did not want those extra minutes.
Ferg.
I truly struggle with how I want to grade this. I hate that ending, and I canceled Toast of London a few weeks ago because I hated the end so much and thought the show was funny. I'm gonna greenlight it, even though it's kind of unfair because I canceled Toast of London for the same reason. But I liked the beginning of this show. I really enjoyed the family and all the Clampetts. I thought the jokes were funny and stuff. I truly, really did hate this ending, and I don't think it represents what the show actually is. I don't think this pilot represents what the show is because they spend most of the time of them at home, but I like them in their home too. Oh, it's really hard, but I'm still going to greenlight it because I enjoyed it enough. Just that extra part really pissed me off and really made it toe the line for me, but still greenlight.
Gordon.
Yeah, the pilot itself was very long. The 22-minute one, that's like a 100% green light. And, you know, I'm going to give the show a green light. What I do think they should have done was cut down the amount of time that they were in their home and split the difference between the end part. Because I don't think you get enough of that, but like I did like the family. So like I kind of want to see what happens to them in Beverly Hills, but I think it should have been more focused on them orienting themselves to Beverly Hills in the first episode. That's just me. That's how I would rewrite it. But, I'll ultimately greenlight it.
Yeah, so I'm with you guys kind of all the way on both things. I am going to greenlight it. I agree that whole last 6 minutes or so didn't need to really exist. I understand the need or the thought process of showing you like what the show is going to be, but I also agree with you guys that there's probably ways around that we probably could have cut down a little bit and found a way to sneak in a scene or something to kind of give you the taste of that in the conventional part of the episode. And I struggled personally when like presenting it to you guys, like I had both versions saved on my computer. It was like, which one do I present to you guys as the one we need to cover? Ultimately, because it aired as a longer version first, I felt like that was what we should do. That's what we try to aim to do. But when you watch the short version, you just see the credits roll as they run away. It's like a funny bit, and it makes sense. And that it's like naturally works like way better that way. With that all in mind, I think the heart of the episode still stands, and you get the idea. Just even bringing the outsiders into their home and seeing how they don't understand how certain things work. But yeah, it was a funny show. I enjoyed it. It's slow. That's kind of one of my only other things is that, and again, they fixed it when they re-edited it, but there's all these kind of like line to line. There's little spaces we could cut down and shave a few minutes off of that show with dead air. But I enjoyed it. I could sit there and watch a few episodes. So it's a green light for me too. And that's 4 out of 4 so far. So regardless of Nick's score, it's still a green light. So congratulations to the Beverly Hillbillies. You do live on. I want to remind you guys that this is a show that's public domain. You can find it at least the first season and a half. Go to S1E1pod.com as far as all our stuff. So if you want to follow us on social media, do that. Rate, review, subscribe, do all that stuff. It really does help us a lot. So when you can do those things, it helps boost us in the algorithms. Hit us up. We want to know what shows you want us to cover. And to not keep it any longer, thank you guys. We'll catch you next week with another new episode. So until then, thank you. Goodbye.
I think we got the best. Max Baer Jr. Hang in there, buddy.